86 was certainly a year to remember for San Diego sports fans. The Sockers and Aztecs provided most of the happiness, but the Padres and Chargers gave us a lot of frustration. Al Dennis takes a look back to the sports year of '86.
You can call it the year of the big kiss-off in San Diego. I mean, Dick Williams sure knew how to start off a new year, quit the same morning everybody else was in Yuma to start spring training, and seal the buyout deal with a kiss from the boss. The Padres got a real nice replacement in Steve Boros. Only problem was he was too nice. Would you buy a used car from this man? Sure. Would the Padres win for him? No. Some said what the Padres needed was Dick Williams back here kicking rear ends again. So after the Padres went from just 3 games out at the All-Star break to the second division, Mr. Nice Guy was gone. And Larry Boa gets his first shot at managing in the bigs. At least this guy brings a fiery streak with him. Gee, the Padres probably tied a George Steinbrenner record in '86, having at least 3 managers all in the same year. Great company. But at least we know things can only get better. I mean, Padres '86 was a real pain in the neck. The second straight season, they lose the start to the rehab center. Lamar Hoyt is sure to follow Alan Wiggins out of town on a one-way ticket after a couple of arrests trying to smuggle no-nos across the border from Mexico. But Lamar's trip will have to wait. He's facing jail time. And weren't all those shouting matches fun? Heavy stuff like why there's no beer in the clubhouse to who's poisoning the world with hamburgers. Apparently, it was more than just a pain in the neck for the people making all the hamburgers. They want to sell out. Hey, at least all this hot stuff took our minds off how badly the team was doing on the field. At least Trader Jack is doing his best to make us forget. Gone are Terry Kennedy and Kevin McReynolds. Now let's see if all those young, bright faces from the Mets can bring some life back to the old ball yard. Now take the Chargers, please. Okay, they did have one guy making the Pro Bowl, running back Gary Anderson. This guy was there from start to finish, from his swan dive into the end zone in Week 1 to his nifty piece of footwork in Week 16. Everybody had said, boy, when Gary Anderson figures out this offense, and you put him in the same backfield with Lionel James, who had just set a record for all universe yardage, the Chargers would be unstoppable. And they were on that first Sunday, inflicting the worst punishment ever to a Dolphins team coached by Don Shula. But they wouldn't win another game the first half. After 1 and 7, Don Coryell said it was time to walk away. The schedule was easier the second half, and under new head coach Al Saunders, there would be 3 more wins and a new feel to the organization, with everyone finally committed to riding defense back to the playoffs. It's a defense that set a team record with 62 sacks, second in the NFL, but a defense that was still getting burned by the bomb at the end. And one that has a big question mark. Will Leslie O'Neal regain his Rookie of the Year form? Deal quickly, big guy. Dennis Conner was smart. He got away from all this by sailing off to Hawaii. Come on, Dennis, you call this work? But he assured us it was. Something about how the water off Hawaii would be the closest to the rough stuff they would find off Australia. And so far, the training has paid off. The Stars and Stripes has made it to the Challenger Finals against New Zealand. Now, the winner of this next round goes against the Aussies, who have been holding our America's Cup hostage. Of course, everybody needs to believe in something, that Santa Claus will be there with our presents, and that the Sockers will rescue us from despair and provide a little humor along the way. Nowhere else but in the world of indoor soccer would a team be able to sell a star and then convince his new team to let him play just one more game for his old team, just so the fans could come out and say goodbye. But showbiz sells tickets, and the Sockers were once again the hottest ticket in town. Not surprising, they were our only team in the playoffs, and they won a 5th straight title. But it's getting tougher. They had to come from 3-1 down to beat Minnesota. Guess who's standing in the way of a 6th straight title? Rudy Jungle and his new Tacoma Stars. But hey, who said life was going to be easy? Sure hasn't been easy for Smokey's Aztecs. First, most of his new recruits didn't have the grades to get into school. They lost nearly 2/3 of their games, but they almost had the last laugh in the league tourney, coming within 2 points of making the final. But this year's team is shorter, younger, and already 2-9. Will there be that magic at the end to look forward to? Speaking of magic, the Aztecs football team finally pulled the Holiday Bowl rabbit out of the hat. That's because they hired a new magician in Denny Stoltz. And Stoltz's student magicians pulled off some sleight of hand against BYU. Hey, that was a first in modern times. Then they almost made mighty Iowa disappear. The Hawkeyes, who finished 15th in the final UPI poll, were down by 2 touchdowns before the Aztecs did a disappearing act themselves. But a year that had this kind of ending couldn't have been all bad. For Sports Wrap, I'm Al Janney. Happy New Year.